Yeah, I can hear you. Trying to get,
What are the criteria that we need to meet up for the school accreditation?
are you, okay, that's your question?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Hi everybody, it's good to see you. Glad we finally got connected. The Missouri School Improvement Program outlines a number of criteria that have to be met in order for a district to be fully accredited. It's really not, I mean, I can't explain it to you just without using some visual aids. So it would be hard for me to go through the details of it. But in general, what it measures is student performance related to test scores, related to attendance, ACT scores, how many students go on to college, and things like that.
My question is, who makes the final decision to decide whether a school is accredited or not?
The State Board of Education is authorized under the Missouri Constitution to make that decision.
Okay, so they vote?
My staff and I recommend, staff and I study the data, we make a recommendation, and then the State Board of Education has the final decision.
Okay, thank you.
How is the community going to be included in the state's plan?
We've had several public hearings in the Kansas City area, and we've taken lots of comments. There's been an opportunity on the internet, there's been an opportunity in writing public meetings, as well as through our website for people to offer their suggestions and their feedback. So all of that will be taken into the final plan.
Okay, thank you.
How you doing? I'm DeMarco
Hi.
from Southwest. My question is, how would the plan affect the funding and accredited schools?
Well, the plan is really designed to keep schools from becoming unaccredited. So right now, since Kansas City Public Schools is already unaccredited, the plan doesn't speak specifically to Kansas City. Now, as we get this plan finalized, we'll then have an opportunity to apply the final plan to each of the 3 districts that is currently unaccredited, and we'll work out the details of how that would work.
Alright, and increasing the districts, like in the plan, I think the lab schools, like would that affect the funding and be more costly? Yes or no?
Well, it just depends on how things are structured. In general, the money is designed to follow the students. So there would be an opportunity for local, state, and federal tax dollars to go with the students to whatever school they're attending.
Thank you.
Up next, can I have Northeast, followed by Brazil.
Hi, I'm from Northeast, Richard West, Amanda Williams. Even though that we have achieved the requirements for Tier 3 level accreditation, why have we not been granted Level 3?
The system that we have in place for measuring school accreditation is designed to work with multiple years of data, and right now we only have 1 year. Part of the reason why we insist on having multiple years of data is because the new Missouri School Improvement Plan provides for a growth measure to be included. So for example, we want to know not just how your school did this year compared to last year, but we want to know how students actually did. Because a lot of times the school population will change in a school. So we want to make sure that we're capturing the growth of individual students which is the objective of the whole system. So because we want to do that, we have to have at least 2, preferably 3 years of information.
My name is Charlie Liu from Northeast High School.
And my name is Larry Cooper from Northeast High School. And my question is, when we return from spring break, what will be done to the kid or about the kids that constantly disrupt our class and that prevent us from reaching our full potential and test scores for EOC?
We don't handle discipline issues from Jefferson City. So if you have concerns about how things are happening in your school, or if you have concerns about discipline in your particular school, that's something you need to take first to your teachers and your principal. And if they're not addressing it adequately, then you need to take it to your central office. Dr. Green is your superintendent, and he and the school board are the ones who make policies that govern the schools currently in Kansas City.
Okay, and one more question. What will be done to the schools individually if the state takes over? Like, what will happen to just one individual school?
As I said earlier, there is no specific plan at this point for any kind of intervention in Kansas City public schools. What we believe is that students should have an opportunity to go to a good school where they live. So for us, that means that we have to figure out a system that will allow us to maintain schools in the communities.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Checkstader, and I'm a senior at Paseo Academy. So I have 2 questions for you. Say that we go into lapsed accreditation and we're not accredited at all and we are lapsed. And I know that you spoke about the school district would kind of, in a sense, disappear, and then those students would be transferred out to other school districts, or you guys would kind of make sub-school districts throughout our city. Wouldn't that be kind of contradictory if these are the same students who are performing badly? Wouldn't it kind of, not necessarily be logistically good to keep those same students and just putting them in a smaller school setting when, we did achieve 84 APR points, and we should, you guys are looking over to see if we're provisionally accredited this coming next year. So why would you guys want to kind of split that up and, interrupt the progress of the students throughout the school district?
No decisions have been made yet about next year. And as far as the status on the first year of the APR, that it is true that the district scored this year within that provisional range. And yet, as I said earlier, we have to have at least 2 years of data before we can make that kind of decision. We've informed the district and everyone that should Kansas City meet those benchmarks again this year, that we will recommend to the State Board of Education that they consider moving Kansas City's accreditation to provisional.
Okay, and my second question kind of goes along with that. I know that we're considered like an urban school district, and there's another unaccredited school district in Missouri, which is the St. Louis one, and they had actually scored lower in APR points than we did, but you guys granted them provisional accreditation the very first time they tried, but now you guys didn't do that for us, and you said we're going to hold it there and keep everyone's accreditation status the same for 2 years. So why was the St. Louis school district treated differently than the Kansas City school district if we did score higher on those testing scores?
One of the things that has made this more complicated is that we've transitioned from one system of MSIP to another. The Missouri School Improvement Program has been around in Missouri for a long time, over 20 years. And through the course of that, every time we change or upgrade our school improvement program, we make changes. In the old days, with the prior systems, we only reviewed a district every 5 years. Occasionally, we would wait 6th year or sometimes even a 7th year to make sure that we were seeing a sustainable trend before we made a decision. In the case of St. Louis, they happened to come in at the end of cycle 4. So the rules were slightly different than they are for Kansas City at this time.
So, and this is just a little question for you, aren't the kids being punished for that? Because if our school district is working so hard to try and get our test scores up, isn't that kind of directly punishing the scholars and the kids who are working so hard if you're just giving away accreditation to other school districts?
One of the things, I think it's important, a couple of things. One, I think all the districts are working really hard, and all the students and the teachers are working really hard. What's really important to remember is that while your district may be unaccredited, that is not a label that's placed on students. So what that means is simply that, excuse me, is that the district is not helping you achieve the goals as well as they should be. And that you're not achieving at the levels that we believe you can. So I think it's important to keep that distinction.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, hi, I go to East High School, and I was wondering, is there a statute of limitations? Meaning, why are you guys just now deciding to deal with the district takeover when we haven't had accreditation for over 10 years now?
I'm sorry, I really couldn't hear you. Can you speak a little more clearly?
I go to East High School, and is there a statute of limitations? Meaning, why are you guys just now deciding to deal with the district takeover when we haven't had accreditation for over 10 years?
No, there is no statute of limitations. The State Board of Education can make that decision anytime.
Okay.
Hi, Miss Nicastro. I'm Jasmine McNeely. I go to East High School and I'm a senior. What are we losing and what are we going to gain when we go through with this plan?
Can you say that again?
What are we losing and gaining when we follow through with this plan? With the plan that state is providing to the board.
Well, I think the whole purpose here is to help the school and the district get better. So, what would be gained, hopefully, is a system that would better provide support for all of you as you, work to try to achieve your goals and you work to try to meet the requirements that you're gonna have to meet, whether you're going on to college or whatever you're gonna do after you graduate from high school. Right now, those systems in your school district certainly is working hard to try to address that. But right now, that's not happening at the levels that it should be.
And what are we losing when we go through with this plan?
It depends to some degree on what happens. So it's hard for me to say at this point exactly what that might be. So I don't know that you would necessarily lose anything. As I said earlier, we believe that it's important to keep good schools in communities. And if we're able to do that going forward, then from your perspective, I don't know that you would see much change at all.
So what is your opinion on this being a successful plan or not?
Well, I think first we have to finish the state plan. And once that's accomplished, then we'll have to have a system in place to evaluate it. The reality is it'll probably take several years before we know for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Valdivia and I'm from Foreign Language Academy. As you can probably tell, it is increasingly important in this globalized world we live in to be multilingual, both in the workplace and in the school setting. So my question is, how does this plan benefit foreign language programs in schools?
Again, we don't deal specifically with the programs that are offered in your schools at this point. I know in Kansas City, you all have an opportunity to take a number of foreign languages. There's also an immersion school that's available. And I certainly agree with you that we need many more of those kinds of programs. Typically, in a district that is fully accredited, those decisions would be made by the Board of Education. Should the status of Kansas City change in any way, then going forward, those decisions might be made by someone else. But I think your point about having global awareness and access to foreign language instruction is very important.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nevaeh Shaw, and I'm from Foreign Language Academy. And my question is, my math scores are advanced, and I'm worried about graduating from an unaccredited school. So what is the plan for those students who meet the standards but are in an unaccredited school?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your question, hon.
Okay, my question was, so what is the plan for those students who meet the standards but are in an unaccredited school?
I still didn't get it.
Okay, what is the plan? Okay, what is the plan for those students who meet the standards but are in an unaccredited school?
Well, the plan is really not a specific targeted intervention model for a specific district. This plan that you've been reviewing relates to the entire state of Missouri. So, as I said, we'll have to come up with a specific intervention plan that applies strictly to Kansas City, because every district is different and every set of circumstances is different. So we're going to have to take that state plan and apply it to the local needs of the students in Kansas City.
Okay, thank you.
Marlon Jones, class of 2018. I attend AC Prep, and my question is, are you sure that you can take over our district and effectively move the district to accreditation?
Well, I think one of the things that is interesting, everybody keeps talking about state takeover, and that's really kind of a misnomer, because the State Board of Education has the authority to unaccredit a district or to lapse a school district. And typically that has led to some other form of governance. So for example, someone mentioned earlier that the district could be divided up and assigned to other districts. In that event, it's not the state that's running the district, it's those other districts. The same thing would be true if you put in some kind of a special administrative board. It wouldn't be the state that was running the district, it would be that special administrative board. So what happens is that the State Board of Education makes a decision, and then they pass off the governance of the district or the oversight of the district from the current elected board to some other body. And that's really what we're talking about. So it's not a direct takeover, it's more of a shift of authority.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adorable Hayfield, class of 2018. And I couldn't help to notice that you said that your plan that you haven't quite had the plan yet, made the plan. And are y'all doing...
You're gonna have to speak up, I can't hear you.
Are y'all, I said, my name is Adorable Hayfield, class of 2018. I'm from AC Prep. And your plan that you guys said that you have talked among yourselves, you haven't quite had the plan or whatever. Can you understand me? You understand me?
No. It's really, I'm getting a really bad signal right now. I don't know if it's on your end or our end.
Actually, try back into the mic.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Now? Can you hear me?
We'll try it.
Okay. So, y'all trying to enforce your plan on all the schools in Missouri that are unaccredited or about to be unaccredited, to make them accredited. Well, there's a difference between urban and suburban communities. So how do you know that your plan won't affect the urban and suburban communities in a different way, as in a bad way? Because they say on the paper for if you are unaccredited, they ask people around the community about what they should do about the accreditation. Can
Maybe. I think you're talking about the differences in the system between an unaccredited district in an urban area and in a suburban area, and how the system distinguishes between them. Is that kind of what you were asking?
Yes, that's what I was asking. So.
Does that get at it?
Well, I mean, like, how do you know it won't affect us in a bad way? Oh, it's my time is over, so I'm just gonna say it.
I'm sorry, it's not working. We can't hear you at all.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Go ahead, we'll see if we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Well, we'll see.
Okay, as a student, my number one complaint every day from other students is the teachers. So my question for you would be, what support from the state would you have for the ineffective teachers?
What does it take to be an effective teacher?
What support from the state would you have for the ineffective teachers?
Right now, we provide a good bit of training for teachers in the state. The teachers in Kansas City have an opportunity to come to lots of workshops and to use webinars and hopefully they work better than this, but to use other kinds of electronic tools to get training, to get access to information and so forth. So those efforts would continue. The system that we've put together is designed to give increasing levels of support as the district needs more support. So that would work for your teachers as well. It would be providing additional levels of support and assistance, training if necessary, to your teachers to help them.
Thank you.
We're gonna have time. We're gonna have a couple more questions and then we're gonna have to cut it off. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask, have you guys considered individual accreditation, not by district but by school, so some can excel instead of being held back by the rest of the ones?
Are you talking about individual schools being accredited instead of districts?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the ideas that's come up a good bit. There are several bills pending in the legislature right now that would do that exactly. And I think there is some merit in actually having building level accreditation so that the parents and others in that community know exactly how their building is doing. I don't think that necessarily replaces district level accreditation because right now our schools are organized in districts. And so the State Board of Education has been accrediting districts, which is really a level of classification around the entire system itself. So while I would say that I think doing building accreditation is a good idea, I don't think we should do that only, but also in addition to district.
Thank you.
We've heard a lot recently about districts who have been unaccredited transferring students. We've also been told how much this costs. Is it really beneficial for the students being transferred out to the extent that it makes the district go bankrupt?
Yeah, the transfer issue has really created some difficulty around the whole issue of how do we help unaccredited school districts. And the reality is that under the current system, with the current formula for calculating tuition, that no district will be able to sustain that program indefinitely. As I look at the districts in St. Louis that are doing that right now, there's no question that some of the students are better off. There are some students who would tell you that they were really happy they got to transfer from Normandy or Riverview to a neighboring district. There are others who tried it and it didn't work out very well for them. So I think the answer is that transfers may be an option that might be desirable for children and for families, but it's not the only solution, and certainly it needs to be done with a different kind of tuition calculation than we currently have.
Thank you.
Hi, Commissioner. I'm Shamika Kendricks. I am letting you know that we are out of time. The students have to get back on their buses at 2:15, so we want to thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry we had
questions.
so much technical difficulty.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of the students who showed up. It's 2:14 now, so we did a good job on time. Thank you for all your questions. Please, before you leave, hand the cards that you had to one of the students that helped to organize this, so that we can make sure that we get that information back to Desi in case you
Yes,
weren't able
please
to
do
ask
send in
anything.
any of your comments or suggestions.